15 games on tonight's slate of MLB DFS, and it is a blessing because some of the games that I wanted to stack, some of the teams I wanted to stack, are in games where the weather is looking pretty dicey. I see we've already got a question on that over on YouTube, so it's going to be a fun day with some weather discussion, but hopefully some good plays as well. So let's get you set to start the weekend off right with MLB DFS. This is the FanDuel Live Q&A. My name is Jim Sonis. I am a senior writer and analyst for numberFire.com, here to get you set for Friday night's slate. As always, we are taking questions no matter where you're watching, YouTube, Twitch, Facebook, or Twitter. Make sure you are subscribed there, but then also get your questions in, no matter what is on your mind for tonight's slate. We will take it here live on the air to get you set for what should be a good night of action. I see Cool Rule 90 is checking in on Twitch. What's up, Cool Rule? Welcome to the FanDuel Live Q&A. Excited to get things popping for today. Let's start things off over on YouTube with kind of the headliner here. John, I will get to your question in a second. But first, let's start with Savon. Any games to watch out for because of weather? Yes, there are a couple. There are a couple here that are a little bit dicey. So I like the Tampa Bay Rays tonight, but looks like this game could be a little bit dicey. It sounds like we should be able to play this game based on what Kevin Roth was seeing this morning, but it is still to be determined if that will be the case. He also saw some causes for concern for the Diamondbacks and the Phillies. I love Aaron Nola in that game. I'm hoping he does not get taken out by some weather here. So we are definitely keeping an eye on the way things develop there for Philadelphia and for Baltimore. We'll see, but it is kind of a bummer to have that going on. But overall, Savon, these are the games to monitor. Also, the Twins game and the Mets game, couple that may be highlighted in terms of being a little bit risky for today. Savon is asking let's go back to John. Sorry, my bad. Let's go to John. How would you stack the White Sox for tonight? Okay, let's go back here and check out the White Sox facing Keegan Thompson. I think that's definitely a spot where we can stack them. Let's see if the White Sox lineup is out here yet for the Crosstown Classic against the Chicago Cubs. Guessing their lineup is probably not out yet because that is a Central Time game, so a little bit later, the White Sox lineup is in. Look at that. And Luis Robert moved up to the number 2 spot. That is enticing. Yasmani Grandal batting 6th. Cesar Hernandez moved down to 7th. Okay, so we've got that working for it here today. Let's pull up the salaries here over on FanDuel, and let's scroll down to the White Sox because I'm kind of curious where Grandal's salary is for today. Yasmani Grandal is $2,500. So I think that Grandal, from a value perspective, gonna be a pretty solid option for today. And let's go over here and check out the White Sox numbers versus righties to determine what else we want to put in there for the rest of this lineup. Okay, let's go back, check out the lineup one more time. Roberts, Abreu, Anderson, Jimenez, Moncada, and Cesar Hernandez. Okay. And then let's sort here. Interested to see that Robert has been moved up in the order because he tends to be a bit over-salaried for where he tends to bat. Let's see here. Okay, versus righties, a 152 ISO. Let's check out the current form for him. See if things have been trending up to inspire that move up in the order. Had a home run yesterday, it appears. Okay, that's good. And then let's go here. And let's go over to StatCast and check out what he's been doing since he came back specifically. If we do that, not bad. 46% hard hit rate. Had a barrel yesterday. That's not too bad. Okay, so okay with Roberts. Definitely on board with that potentially. A little bit high salaried still. Actually, pretty high salaried. Okay, so probably going to go Jimenez. Pretty undersalaried there at $3,400. Is Brian Goodwin in the lineup for today? He is not. Bummer there. But I do think that we can feel good about some of the other guys. Yeah, okay. Probably going to go Moncada. He had a day off yesterday, I believe. Maybe gets him a little bit on track here. Yeah, not too bad recent. So let's go with Moncada. And probably leaning towards Abreu just because he's insanely good. So let's do that. And then let's go over to Nola and see what his salary looks like. 29.25 is not bad. So we can make this work pretty easily. So I think that's probably how I'd be stacking the White Sox up for today. Now let's go to Savon. Any stacks get downgraded or upgraded from this morning, and best stacks for single entry. The more I think about it, the more I think I might want to move the Red Sox down, just because I think the impact of not having Hunter Renfroe in there for a lefty is decent. I still think they'd be the top stack. Maybe the gap for them a little bit smaller for today. So still feeling good about them, maybe moving them down. The one team I am warming up to based on their lineup is the Phillies. We talked about how I was into Herrera, Harper, Gregorius, and Miller, and they're batting 1, 3, 4, 5. So I think I might be more inclined to stack the Phillies than I was this morning. That's probably the one bigger change I've seen from me so far, Savant. Let's talk to Diffuse, really liking the spot for Eduardo Rodriguez against Cleveland away from Fenway at potentially suppressed roster rate. Okay, so let's go over here and check out Eduardo Rodriguez. The one concern that I had heading into Rodriguez's last start when he got rocked by the Rangers with pitch count, and the concerns there were not really alleviated because he went to 68 pitches. That was because of effectiveness, not because of leash. But either way, it doesn't make you feel great if you get yanked from 68 pitches against a team as bad as the Rangers. So I think that he is at least an option, I would say, to fuse. He is not my favorite option, but again, Nola's my favorite option, and I might not get to use him because of the weather for that game. I would say Nola's above him, Garrett Cole's above him. I'd probably go Logan Gilbert. I know Gilbert's had really bad results recently, but still do like him a bit more than Rodriguez. I think I'd rank all those guys above him. Still kind of interested in Sean Manaea. It's stupid, I know. This is one of the things like do as I say, not as I do. So I'm probably going to use some Sean Manaea. Don't recommend it, but I'm going to do it probably. And then maybe it's McClanahan and then Rodriguez. So he's like at least an option, I would say, Diffuse. I would not talk you out of that by any means. Let's talk to Savant here. How do you like the following stacks? We got St. Louis facing Dylan Peters. We have the Dodgers facing Kyle Freeland. We have San Diego facing a bullpen game for the Angels and Cincinnati facing Zach Thompson. I like the matchup a lot for Cincinnati against Thompson. The problem is the park, because that game is in Miami for today. They did just see him, which means they should be pretty familiar with what he's doing. So I think that they're a consideration, Savon, but the park does lower them a decent amount for me. The Padres are okay, I think, against the Angels. The Angels bullpen, definitely not a great one. I know the Padres are in a pretty bad place right now, but I think that I could still get to them. So among those, I would say, St. Louis is not bad. Peters done a decent job of keeping the ball on the ground. Let's look at the larger sample here on Dylan Peters to see what he did prior to joining the rotation. And so looking at his minor league numbers here, mostly looking at his batted ball data. Oh, he let up a lot of fly balls in AAA. In AAA with the Angels, the same thing. Got some strikeouts there, but those have not followed in the big leagues so far. So I would say St. Louis works. If I had to rank those, Savon, I'd probably say I just don't like the park for St. Louis either. So I'd probably go Cincinnati, San Diego, St. Louis, the ranking of those stacks. But I think that those three are all at least options for today, Savon, in case we get trimmed down due to weather for later on. Jason on YouTube says Nola will be a bust tonight. Okay, Jason, send me your reasoning. I want to hear the thought process here. Definitely down to discuss it. So send me your thought process and why Aaron Nola will be a bust tonight. I like him a lot personally, facing the Diamondbacks. Pretty weak team versus righties, 83 WRC plus, 132 ISO. Nola was dealing last week, been dealing for a while now, 3.47 skill interactive ERA, 29% strikeout rate. But Jason, I want to hear your thoughts. We could talk this one out for sure. DJ says that the Cubs sweep this series. Okay, so he's going against the White Sox, facing... Who is it for today? Dallas Keuchel. I think that, maybe we get some Frank Schwindel action in there for you, DJ. Could at least be a fun series if it's not a winning one for the Cubs there. Savant, best pitcher if Nola doesn't play, would it be Garrett Cole? I think so, Savant. It does kind of depend on how much value we wind up getting on this slate, because if we don't get a lot, then it's tough to get to Cole up at 11-2. But Yasmani Grandal, I think, is encouraging. I think the Phillies lineup is encouraging for value. So I would say it's most likely going to be Cole for tonight as being the top guy. So I think that that's most likely where things will shake out for me. Savant also says that he likes San Diego pitcher for tonight. That is Joe Musgrove. Joe Musgrove is very good. issues that I have with Musgrove are he is on the road facing a team that's pretty good, and he has to face a DH tonight, which he usually does not because that game is in Los Angeles. So couple downsides, but he's been pitching pretty well since he's been using his curveball more often. So I think that he's an option too, but not my favorite as a result of those things discussed before. Let's go to Michael on YouTube. Toronto lineup is out. No Kirk, but Dickerson is in there. I kind of did want Alejandro Kirk at $2,100, but good to see that Corey Dickerson is in there. Let's pull up the Jays lineup and see what they're doing versus Matt Manning, because I do like the Blue Jays for stacking and fewer weather concerns with that game. Let me just double check that quick. Yep, we are good to go there. Okay, so Dickerson batting fifth. Josh Palacios. Don't actually know a lot about him, so let's make sure he's in the player pool first. Okay, Palacios is in there. Now let's go over here and check out the profile on Mr. Palacios. All right, 26 years old, got called up back on Monday. In AAA, he had an 053 043 ISO back in 2019 in AA, 150 ISO, 15 stolen bases though, so it looks like there is some speed in that profile. The projection system is not super high in his power, so that's a little bit annoying. 39 plate appearances of data, does have a 39% hard hit rate and a 33% fly ball rate, so not a total dud. I think you could probably maybe use Palacios just because like he's minimum salary, batting seventh, but like the profile to me is not super attractive. Definitely going to rank Dickerson above him. Let's pull up the salaries of the other Blue Jays here while checking out this lineup. Dickerson's kind of the easy guy. We'll put him in there. And what is Lourdes Gurriel's salary for today? He is $3,100. Grichuk, don't think he was in there. Yeah, no Grichuk for today, so can't use him. Teoscar is $3,800, so maybe I will wind up talking myself into Palacios just because I really do kind of need those salary savings. Don't really want to get there, but like if I want to stack the Blue Jays with Garrett Cole, I might kind of need to do it. So if you're going Cole and Blue Jays, I could be okay with Palacios because then you can go with maybe get Vlad in there. And we'll do that. And then I probably want to get to Teoscar, but like that's going to be tough. So even with Palacios, it's still tough. But I think that you can probably make that get by if you had to. So Palacios is at least an option, but not my favorite one. Savon, should I stack Washington and the Mets together? So Washington is facing Rich Hill. I think you could use some guys there, like if Ryan Zimmerman's in the lineup. Let's see if he's in there. He is not. Josh Bell's fine. Lane Thomas is okay. Carter Kieboom can work. You could talk me into a national stack, but they're not like the best team just because they're a really bad overall offense. And that does turn me off of them quite a bit. The Mets facing Paolo Espino. Espino has pitched okay, I would say, since he rejoined the rotation full time, but laid up a lot of hard contact. So I prefer the Mets between those two, Savon, and they're not super high on my list, but they're at least options, I would say. Let's go. Ooh, sorry, I've missed a lot here. DJ, thoughts on Matz, Happ, Bubic, and Zach Thompson? Happ has at least 40 points in the last two starts versus Pittsburgh. He just faced them last week, and I'm not a huge fan of using guys in repeat matches, but like you said, Happ did shove, so that's good. He pitched really well. Problem is, I don't know if he can do it again, especially given they just saw him. So I'm not super high on Happ. Matz is facing Detroit, 18% strikeout for him and 9 since returning from the IL. Bubic is facing the Mariners. Pretty big strikeout rate for the Mariners. And Zach Thompson, just really rough current form. The Reds just saw him. Of those guys, I'd probably rank Bubic first, but like I don't really want to use any of them. My top value play for today is Logan Gilbert at $8,000. Let's talk to Diffuse. Care to touch more on Minaya? Doesn't sound like too bad of a GPP target. Again, I'm kind of sheepish about this because like Manaya's burned me a lot, and he's facing the Yankees. Like he could score negative points, and I wouldn't bat an eye. But if you look at his 8 starts when I think he changed the way he was throwing his breaking ball, and his breaking ball is classified as different things depending on what site you're looking at. But 28% strikeout rate, 3.42 skill interactive ERA. Now, the most recent starts in that sample are really, 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 really bad. Like he's gotten lit up. I think like his past 4 starts, but those numbers are included in the advanced numbers that I just cited. The Yankees are very good. That's why I'm not going to get, I can't like talk him up, but like I don't know if you have this diffused, but there are some dudes who like, I just can't not use. Like, it's like one of those things where like, I feel really strongly towards them. I'm inclined to use them pretty often. Manaea's one of those guys, one of those checklist guys. He got rocked by the Rangers, which is tough. Didn't do well against Cleveland. He might just not be right now because like those past 4 starts are bad. Maybe I shouldn't use him, but I'm tempted still because I love strikeouts. He's still been getting whiffs, so I don't know. I'm really tough. It's a really tough spot there. Salvatore, Wade Miley didn't pitch well against the Marlins last outing, thinking this time should be different. Probably not. Not a Miley guy personally. He doesn't get a lot of strikeouts. I know it's a great matchup, but like matchups can only go so far for me. They're seeing him for a second straight time, so I will not be using Wade Miley for today. Tim is looking for some money line options. Okay, so I'm looking for some teams that I think might be a bit undervalued in that regard for today. Let's keep on scrolling here. The Reds at minus 142, I would say, Tim, are probably undervalued, so I could get behind that for sure. I know it's a pretty juicy one, but I'm pretty okay with that personally. Giants at plus 110 isn't bad, despite being on the road. I think those would probably be the 2 best ones that I like the most here. Not seeing much else pop up. Yeah, so I would say that I like the Giants and the Reds for you, Tim. Kenneth, any love for Texas against Odorizzi? I would stack a lot of teams against Jake Odorizzi, Kenneth, so I think that it's good that you're asking because Odorizzi is a profile against which we would like to stack because he lets up a lot of impactful contact, doesn't get strikeouts. Texas is just really bad, though, and there aren't a lot of guys in that lineup who I want to use. Like, let's see if their lineup is in here yet. Not yet, but like once it's out, there's probably not going to be a lot of guys in there I really want to use. So I like the matchup, Kenneth. I just don't like the team enough to feel good about them there. Let's talk to Linnell on Facebook. Do you think the Rockies will beat the Dodgers tonight? Rockies are throwing Kyle Freeland. He's actually pitched pretty well recently, so it's not a good situation to ever want to be on the Rockies against the Dodgers. Dodgers going to bullpen game. Their bullpen's kind of spent. Freeland's pitched pretty well. I don't think it's out of the realm of possibilities that they win that game, but it's so tough mentally to be in on the Rockies on the road. Jason, Nola will be a bust tonight. Again, give me your reasoning, Jason. I want to hear it. Or did I miss that? Yeah, okay. Let's talk to Terry. Which games have weather issues that we should be concerned about? Okay, let's go back over here to Kevin Roth's forecast via Roto Grinders. It looks like the main ones to be worried about are Baltimore, Philadelphia, New York, and Minneapolis. Those are the ones that seem like they are at risk of having some sort of delay. As of right now, based on the way that Kevin worded them, I'd be okay using players in all of those. But I do want to see what his forecast looks like at 5:30. Usually does an update at 5:30 Eastern. So check out the updated forecast then and see what he says. I would always trust him over me just because I am not as talented. I'm not a meteorologist and he is. So check out that, Kevin. Terry. But as of right now, Philly, Baltimore, New York, and Minneapolis are the main ones. Jerry says, sorry, just joined and maybe looking at the same thing, but what games are weather concerned? Yeah, it's rough. Sorry, Jerry. Jason says the Yankees being slept on hard. I mean, given the way Manaea's pitched, that's fair. Very fair. Savant, are lineup generators the thing I should invest in or no? Depends. I personally do not like them very much because I want the control. I want to be able to, and you can do this with a lot of lineup generators. Kudos to them. But like, I want to be able to crank out combinations. I want to have that control over each lineup, which is why my preferred format is single entry because I don't have to care about doing lineup generators. But Savant, it always depends on your play style. There are a lot of good generators out there. Personally, that's not my style, but to each their own. If you are using a lineup generator, make sure you tweak custom settings. You don't want to have the same lineup as everyone else. Tweak some things. On a lot of them, you can change out expected runs and stuff like that. Make sure if you are using one, make adjustments to it so that you're not getting the same lineup as everyone else who's using the same services. But it is really one of the situations where it is to each their own. Salvatore, can we have the teams with the best ISOs and WRC plus on a slate? Okay, let's go over here and let's go to the hitter tab. The best WRC plus on this slate belongs to the Yankees facing Sean Manaea. So that's a good thing for Jason there, and a bad thing for my thoughts on Manaea. And again, I probably should talk myself out of it. We'll see. We'll see how that goes. And ISO, the best ISO for today. Looks like it's probably the Rays. Is that correct? Yeah, the Rays at 207 against Matt Harvey. What could go wrong with Matt Harvey there? Jerry, got a couple of Boston, Mets, Washington, and Toronto in the mix. What's your thoughts? I love Boston and love Toronto. Washington, if it's like guys who are actually good on that team, so like Josh Bell, Carter Kieboom, Juan Soto, guys like that, it's fine, but their depth is pretty bad. As far as the Mets go, again, I think that they're okay too against Paulo Espino. I would rank those Boston, Toronto, and then probably the Mets, and then Washington. Mike is asking for the best choice for a grand slam. Okay, so we need guys who are going to be in situations where they're going to get guys on base. So maybe like a high walk situation. I kind of like the Phillies in that scenario because Widener does walk some dudes. That could put some guys on base for you, Mike. And then he lets up a lot of impactful contact. So best choice for a grand slam. Bryce is batting third, which makes it a bit tougher for him. So let's go. My choice today, Brad Miller, grand slam, just for you, Mike Johnson, over on YouTube. Let's talk to Jason. Gio Urshela will hit a 3-run home run tonight. Book it. Okay, so Jason is betting Gio Urshela to hit a home run. I like it. Jerry, I actually think Hill will do well against Washington. Only concern is Soto and Zimmerman, rocking him on a 2 or 3 runs. Those errors hurt. Yeah, I think that I won't be getting to Hill personally. I know it's a great matchup, but just not enough strikeouts recently. A 15% strikeout rate for Rich Hill over his past 10 outings with decreased velocity. So that would be my concern there. I'm not going to get there, but good luck to you, Jerry. Let's talk to Jerry once again. Love Gilbert. Thoughts? I like it. Personally, he's my favorite value play for today among the guys. Below $8,000 or below $9,000, he is at $8,000. Facing the Royals, not a big strikeout team, but also they don't generate a ton of hard contact. And Logan Gilbert's big issue right now, and the reason he's been getting just destroyed his past couple starts, is that he's been letting up a lot of impactful contact. The Royals don't generate that. Gilbert is at home. Low walk team should allow him to go deeper in the game. He gets some strikeouts. So I think that's enough to make Gilbert my top value play for today. Let's talk to Johnny. I'm an M's fan. No way I take Gilbert again. Johnny, were you there the past couple of the games? I've been there. I get it. I understand for sure. Past 2, he's allowed 14 earned runs his past 2 starts. 9 against Houston and 5 against, can't remember the other team, but he was not good. It's been rough, Johnny, but I'm expecting a bounce back for tonight. Savon, how would you stack Detroit? Probably wouldn't personally because they've been in a pretty big downspin recently, and Steven Matz does a good job of suppressing our contact. So I probably would not be in on Detroit for tonight. Let's talk to Bam on YouTube. Is Derrick Henry or Zeke the 1.04 and a half PPR league? Is out if Alvin is off the board? It's Derrick Henry. I like the NFL question filtered in there, Bam. I would go Derrick Henry. It's hard for me to turn down a dude that's disgusting. Savon, best starting pitcher for cash games. So if we get Nola, depending on the weather, if we can get some good news on the weather for that game, I would go Nola for cash games. That matchup is just impossible for me to turn down. So I would go with Nola if I can. If I can't go Nola, I know the matchup for Cole is tough, but I would still go there personally. Let's talk to Jonathan. How about Max Fried for tonight? I think he's a really good pitcher. I like him a lot. He's been getting more ground balls recently. His strikeout rate is 25%. The issue I have with Max Fried is that he's facing a team that is really good versus lefties in the Giants. So I wouldn't cross him off because he's very talented, Jonathan. I just worry about that matchup being very tough for Max Fried. That's the big concern that I have there. Savon, how would you stack Houston? Facing Glenn Otto, got Alex Bregman back for Houston. Let's see if their lineup is out. I scrolled past them. There we go. Let's refresh this one more time. And no lineup yet for Houston. So let's go over here and check out their projected lineup and see what that looks like. And go over here. Okay. So do we have any salary savers on Houston left who are going to be in the lineup? Most likely not. Very upsetting that Chas McCormick is out. Very upsetting. So they're not going to be an easy team to stack with Cole. Bregman had a dinger a couple nights ago. So good to see him back out there. I think that if I were stacking Houston, I'd probably want to be living around here in this middle range. So Kyle Tucker to me probably gonna be a great option. I think Bregman probably a bit under salaried. I'd probably start with those guys first and then go elsewhere. They're probably a team that I can't get to with Cole, in all honesty. But I think that's, if you want to get there, go Gilbert and then allow yourself to spend up for the studs. George, who is your value play at pitcher? Again, I think it's Logan Gilbert. I know he's had a really rough past couple of starts, but it's been some tough matchups, easier matchup here, so I'll go with Logan Gilbert there. Kyle, Brewers stack tonight. Check the weather there, Kyle, because it is kind of dicey. Facing Andrew Albers, who is back in the big leagues with the Twins. Not a great sign for the Twins, but he's a guy who was pitching okay in AAA, so I think the Brewers are fine. Like Willy Adames, I think, is someone you can feel good about there. Check out the salaries here on the Brewers. But again, the weather there a bit dicey in Minneapolis for tonight. Adames is banged up. Bummer. Luis Urias, $2,400. So I think that they're pretty good for one-offs. Like Urias is a great one-off. I think at $2,400. I do like Adames if he plays. Avisail Garcia definitely works if he plays too. But not having, if they don't have Adames and Escobar, that could be a pretty big dent in their lineup. DJ, would you go 1, 3, 4, 5 for a Cleveland stack tonight? Cleveland is facing Rodriguez. Probably not. I don't think I really want to touch that one. Pretty rough there. Let's see here. DJ, would you play Hermosillo or Ortega against Keuchel? I think I could use Ortega, personally. Keuchel has not been lights out recently. I guess Ortega's not in the lineup, so just kidding. I would not use him. But I think that you could do Wisdom. You could use Schwindel. Bodie's interesting. Let's check out Hermosillo's numbers. Let's see if we can get DJ some extra rooting interest here with the Cubs for this game against the White Sox. Okay. Hermosillo. So we wait for this to load. In AAA, 286 ISO. Actually, you know what, DJ? I think that's fine. I could do that too. So Hermosillo, I'd say, is in play, but also Schwindel, maybe some Bodie, maybe some Wisdom. George, if we want to use Garrett Cole, what's the best stack that don't have weather risks? So we're looking for lower salaried stacks. The Phillies have weather risks, but if we get it all clear on them, George, I would love the Phillies there. Low salaries, pretty easy team to stack. So I would say that the Phillies would grade out pretty well from that perspective. You might be able to stack the Jays if you go Dickerson and Palacios. It does mean you're probably sticking to Gurriel and one of the other four guys, but I still think you could potentially make that work. I want to see what the Red Sox lineup looks like, because if we can get Arroyo in there, get Dahlbeck, they could work as well. So I would just try to get the value, pluck the value from the really good stacks. We didn't get Brett Phillips in the Rays lineup. Pretty big bummer there, but we got Wendell. So maybe you can make that work. Probably it's going to be tough, a tight squeeze for sure with Cole, but hopefully we get the Phillies. I think that would be the top one for me, George, for there. Let's go to Salvatore. Top two pitchers with the highest flawed ball rate and BBE. Okay. Fly ball rate here for pitchers. Largest one belongs to Taylor Widener. So again, going Phillies there. Rich Hill facing the Nationals. So maybe some Josh Bell, Juan Soto, et cetera, et cetera. Savon, would you put Gilbert or the Houston pitcher in cash entry? I would not put Jake Odorizzi in cash. I would probably not go to Gilbert because he's been so bad recently. I think that I want to spend up at pitcher and go with Cole for cash games. Renee asked for a pitcher for tournaments. I think it's Cole again, because I know in our mindset often when we talk about tournaments is, okay, I can take on risk there, but I also want the highest point score. And if I don't get access to Aaron Nola because of the weather, I think that Garrett Cole is probably that guy. I think that's probably where I'd be. Jerry says he loves Devers for lefty on lefty grand slam and Schwarber and Semien to hit home runs. Okay. So we got lefty on lefty for Rafael Devers facing Allen. Not going to talk you out of that one, Jerry. I like it. Johnny, how about Andre Jackson tonight? He's a possible starter for the Dodgers. He will likely be part of a bullpen game. So very short sample there, Johnny. Not enough volume for me to get there. And I would avoid both the Dodger starter and the Angels starter. Looks like those are both the bullpen games. Jerry, did you see almost all the Cleveland hit home runs yesterday? At least 4 or 5. It was all 4 or 5 at like the bottom of the order. So it was Hedges hit one, Chong hit one. I think there was someone else. Was it Mercado who hit one? Like, it was all the dudes at the bottom of the order we had talked about, and I didn't use enough of. So, of course, that's the way it works. Happens all the time. But yes, I did see that, Jerry, and I was tilting with every notification because I didn't have enough of those guys. Let's get to a couple ones here. Okay, Jason says Musgrove will have a big game tonight. Book it. Yeah, I think that's pretty viable, Jason. I like Musgrove a lot as a talent, and again, pitching pretty well recently. This is over his past 6 starts with more curveballs, 28% strikeout rate, good batted ball data. The Angels have slipped as an offense recently, so Jason, I don't hate that. I think that's a solid option there. Savon asking Musgrove for cash. I probably wouldn't go there for cash game just because I'm a little bit worried about the matchup, worried about facing a DH and stuff like that. But for tournaments, if we can't use Nola, I think that does make Musgrove pretty viable here. DJ says it was Zimmer hit home run. So Bradley Zimmer went deep yesterday. I think they were facing a lefty, so it's a bummer that Zimmer went deep either way. And then Linnell, do you think Pittsburgh will upset St. Louis again tonight? Probably not. I don't tend to want to bank on the Brewers winning or the Pirates winning games, so I'll say probably not. And final question, Savon, Wade Miley for cash? No, not enough strikeouts. I want more strikeouts for cash games because strikeouts give you a really good floor. I know we think about strikeouts in terms of ceiling, but they also matter for floor because if you get 6 strikeouts, that allows you to let some earned runs and still be okay. So I'd personally avoid Wade Miley for cash games. That is all that we have here for today on the FanDuel Live Q&A, but do want to thank you as always for tuning in. As always, we're back once again next week, Monday through Friday, taking your questions live on air. So make sure you are subscribed on your platform of choice and swing back on Monday at 4 p.m. Eastern. If you have more questions for me, I am on Twitter at Jim Sannes, JimSannes. You can also follow the FanDuel Podcast Network at FanDuel Podcast. Big thank you to Joy Affleck, our video producer, for running the video side of things here today. Thank you, Joy, as always. And thank you, everyone, for tuning in. Have a great weekend. Good luck tonight. We'll talk to you once again on Monday. This has been the FanDuel Live Q&A.